welcome back to the channel, everybody. It's your boy Big O Nuggets, and today we're going to be looking at the mixers. We're going to be looking at all their locations, what bugs spawn in each mixer, and just some tips and tricks that kind of help me with the mixer. We're also going to be looking at the secret weapon that you get for completing all the mixers, the all 5 bottom yard and the 3 upper yard mixers. Now we're also going to be looking at the location for you to go there and some resources that you get for unlocking all that. But I will be showing you guys a little cheeky way to actually get the secret weapon without completing the mixer. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. So once you complete all the mixers from the lower yard and the upper yard, you're finally going to have access to this room here. You can see that is the probe whacker. That is a secret weapon that you get after completing all the mixers. And to access it is just, once you defeat the assistant manager, you know, you're going to go down here, it's going to access it. But I wanted to do this closed because I want to show you a little cheeky way to actually get the probe smacker. Now what you're going to do is you're going to go to options, accessibility, and make sure that your wide interaction is turned on. Is when this is enabled, you can interact with nearby objects even when you're not directly looking at them. So make sure you guys are in third person for this. You're going to go third person. You're just going to stand like right on this rock right here. And you're, like I said, you're just going to indirectly look at it. See? Right. It's gonna highlight it. So you might have to just press X multiple times and it's there we go. And then we have grabbed the probe smacker. You just gotta kind of look to the side. I would smash X or your pickup button and then bam, you have officially gotten the probe smacker without having to complete any of the mixers. But now here's what I was trying to say earlier, that I don't think this weapon is worth. Before, when I was watching a video on it, they were showcasing it just like the pinch whacker. They had that electrical blast, bam, you know, it did this electrical blast. And honestly, like the stun, 100% stun is crazy too, but it really doesn't have a shockwave. They took out the electrical part just like they kind of did with the pinch whacker. They nerfed it. And I was thinking, you know, an end game weapon, or like a weapon that you really have to grind to get, and it being, you know, that weak or not, you know, them nerfing it, it's kind of crazy. So look, let's take a look right here. 1, 2, see, so about 2-3 hits, it does a stun. It does some decent damage. It's almost like the mallet, but I even think that once you upgrade your mint mallet, it actually does more damage. But yeah, I genuinely think that that it might not be worth that much of a grind for you guys to get the probe whacker. I mean, if you guys want to complete the game 100%, all that good stuff, I mean, go for it. But I genuinely think it's really just a waste of time to grind to get the probe smacker when they kind of nerfed it just like they did the pinch whacker. So let me know your thoughts, guys, and let's continue with the locations for all the mixers. Let's go ahead and look into the mixer locations. Now, this first one is going to be in the central grasslands. This is pretty much close to the red anthill and close to where those stink bugs are in the dry grass area. If you go through there, it's pretty straightforward. You just follow the location on the map. Pretty straightforward. For this one, you're going to be fighting red worker ants, lawn mites, and red soldier ants. Now, honestly, for these bottom ones, they're not too hard. You can pretty much solo them all, but I would just recommend maybe having just the brick walls, the mushroom brick walls, only because the grass ones, I think they can really get through the grass ones pretty easily. So I would just recommend having the mushroom brick walls in general. Now, if you have the cement, I would save it for the upper yard because the upper yard is a little bit harder. But honestly, brick mushrooms is perfect for this. And once you complete this mixer, you get about 2,000 raw science. Now, the next one is going to be in the Haze. Honestly, this one is once you find the Haze Lab, it's right off to the left. It's right there off the left underneath the deck or the patio. For this Haze Lab one, I would recommend using brick again, putting all around it, because the bugs that you're going to fire are going to be infected mites, infected ladybugs, infected larvae, and infected weevil. Now, this wouldn't be too bad, but all of these have that explosive damage, so be very careful to not to let them too close to your walls, because I think after a couple waves of them, they're going to really tear through them. But I use the mint staff, and we just breeze through all of them, because fresh does a lot of damage to all of these. So I would recommend either the mint mallet or some fresh weapons, and you'll be able to get the haze done, and it's only, you get another 2,000 raw science from that. Next up is this Sandbox. Now this one's going to be located kind of like in the far right side where the blue shovel is, near the sandcastle. It's really out in the open. You can't miss this mixer, and the only ones that attack you here are just the antlions. Now, Again, brick walls will work, but be very careful because when they dig down and jump out, that does a lot of damage to your walls and could potentially break them pretty quickly once they start. A lot of them start spawning towards the end, so be very careful. But honestly, if you have the Salt Morningstar or maybe the Antlion Sword with some salt weapons or any weapons with salt, like I mean, you can easily breeze through this. I soloed this one and it wasn't too bad. The Antlions aren't that hard to beat. Next up is going to be the Hedge mixer. Now this one's going to be near the bird bath. It's going to be like on the far right corner of the hedge in the bottom area, not before you get to the top where the actual lab is, but in the bottom where you got to parkour your way all the way over. Now this one, you're gonna get larva, orb weavers, and orb weaver juniors. So remember, be careful with the orb weaver juniors because they do some poison damage. But besides that, get yourself a little Coltana or some spicy weapons, and you can easily breeze through this one. You do get send a couple, like a good bit of orb weavers, but this one ain't too bad. The larvae aren't too hard to beat. The hedge is a pretty easy one, and once you defeat this one, you get about another 2,000 raw science from this particular mixer. And the final mixer for the bottom yard, which I think this one's technically upper yard, but is not part of not part of the super mixers, is a northern grasslands one. This one's right to the far left of where the barbecue is fallen. If you just go past or you see all the coals and stuff, keep going down and you'll see it there. It's pretty straightforward. It's out there. What you're going to be battling here is going to be black soldier ants and mosquitoes. Now, I want to warn you about the mosquitoes. If you don't do a nice little barrier over your mixer, the mosquitoes are just going to fly directly to the mixer. So I recommend high walls and maybe even barricading it inside so that you can have a better chance of messing up the mosquitoes. The black soldier ants aren't too bad. That's the only two bugs are there. Pretty easy. This one wasn't too hard, but the mosquitoes can go directly to the mixer if you don't have high walls or block it. And all 5 of these only give you 2,000 raw science. Now the super mixers, these are going to be a little bit more challenging up in the upper yard, only because a lot of these bugs are a lot more beefier. So the first mixer's up in the upper grasslands. If you look towards the tire, it's kind of close to that. I hope you can find this ping in the map a little bit better. What you're going to be fighting here is going to be fire soldier ants, fire worker ants, and roly-polies are going to pull up to you towards the end of this. Now be very careful. Those roly-polies do some massive damage. It took us like 3 tries to get this one, but we finally did it. So be very prepared. Really fortify this a lot, and fortify a box too, because it has that little lip where they can just jump right in. I had fire soldier ants just jump right in there and just mess up the mixer. So make sure you really barricade this really nicely. And you can probably get on top of a leaf, shoot some gas arrows. You know, it's not too bad, but you do get 4,000 raw science from this one. Next super mixer is going to be under the lawnmower. This one as well is going to be a little tough. It's kind of the same as the previous one. You're going to have fire soldier ants, fire worker ants, and roly-polies. But for this one, you're going to get a bunch of roly-polies. You're going to be spawning in towards the very end. So I would just, again, for these super mixers, I would just honestly recommend you guys just to super fortify them with the brick being the center. And if you have your cement walls, use your cement walls here and a bunch of grass, just heavily protected. That's what helped me get through a lot of these. It was super helpful having all that built around it. And the final super mixer is gonna be towards the Moldorg Highlands, kind of where the pond is, the upper pond is, to the far left where you see that little wall of stumps. You're just gonna follow that to the very end, and it's gonna be right there in the corner. This one again, you're gonna have ticks and tiger mosquitoes and even a green shield bug. So get some gas masks, and again, these tiger mosquitoes will definitely go directly to the mixer, so you're definitely gonna have to encase it really well. And the green shield bug doesn't really show up until the very end, but then a bunch of mosquitoes spawn at the end. This one, like at the last second, you get a whole bunch of bugs coming in. So the ticks are pretty beefy too when they take some damage. So you got mint, and you got spicy, and the green bug, I believe, is salt. So you got 3 different types you're gonna be there. I would recommend doing this with friends. I did it with another friend of mine, Void, and we got it. But the super mixers were definitely just a little bit harder. So be very prepared for these. Make sure you heavily fortify, especially that last one. Those tigers mosquitoes will definitely go directly into that mixer and mess it up. And that was the mixer video, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys, if this video was helpful. Comment below, what was your method of completing all of the mixers Did you have to fortify it really well, or was it too easy for you? Because I don't think they were too difficult. The upper yard, like I said, was just maybe a tad bit more difficult, but we actually breezed through them a lot faster than I expected. But let me know your thoughts, guys. We got a lot more grounded videos coming up. We're actually already hit about 96%. We're waiting for some patches for us to fully complete the game at 100%. So let me know if you guys know your percentage as well. But without further ado, guys, thank you guys so much for all the love on the grounded content. Like I said, even though we're almost pretty much completed the whole game, we still got some more grounded content coming your way, everybody. So thank you for the love. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.